constitution and our most stable republic. Should we keep the document as is, or we should make amends? We want to pick the views and thoughts of someone who's very knowledgeable in constitutional matters, having been the leader of lawyers of Ghana, the Attorney General of the Republic, the Honorable Ayikoi Otoo. He was Attorney General in the Kufuor administration. He's joining us on the line for a conversation around our constitution. Onukpa, you're welcome to Eyewitness News and Happy New Year to you. So our constitution is 34 years old. Today, Constitution Day is not a holiday. The holiday has been shifted to Friday. Your assessment of the Constitution 34 years on, is it a document that has served our needs in the best way we were hoping when it was framed in 1992?
Well, I think there is a broad consensus that it has survived for such a very long time, which is evidence of some sort of acceptability on our side. But the point of the matter is that as it helps us to hold elections and have our democratic systems in place, the issue appears to be that there's so much concentration of power in the hands of one man, the president, who makes all kinds of appointments from, if you like, liberal to minister and the rest. So, as far as I'm concerned, what this constitution tried to do, the review, is to look at how to whittle down the enormous powers of the president. Unfortunately, the media seem to have, in the early stages, been concentrating on a huge 5-year term proposal instead of a 4-year term and the rest, when there are so many other issues that we may look at, because the drafters or the reviewers are saying that we want to move from democratic structures to development. So if you look at it from that angle, then we want to see how we can use the Constitution to develop. Once again, having structures which say, oh, there shall be a parliament, there shall be the 3 arms of government, and then the 4-year elections recycle every 4 years, electoral commission supposed to be independent, and a few things. We really want to see to it that these structures, if they do exist, should assist us to develop. That's my assessment.
Okay, now, often people say the president is too powerful, and that's one of the biggest, people believe, problems with our constitution. But the counter question is, we run a presidential system where the president campaigns and becomes head of state. If you don't give him all the powers, can you hold him responsible for the failures of the government? Should the president not maintain those powers?
But the president, before he assumes office, must take the oath. And the oath includes that he would uphold the Constitution of the Republic. If he goes against it, he shall suffer the penalty for it. And so he cannot just decide to do whatever he likes. And this we can rein him in by making sure that we have put parameters in place. Yes, you have power to appoint a chief justice, but you just don't do it on your own, but make sure that you use other structures, democratic structures. This time, for example, including the Parliament. parliamentary approval of a simple majority and all that. So that is a way to make sure that power does not corrupt. Absolute power will not corrupt absolute. So what they are doing is trying to add other strictures to what otherwise would be, just the powers to appoint. And remember that these strictures that are being put in place can only work if and only if we allow the systems to work. Obama made this point that we don't need strong men, but we need very strong systems to work. If the systems are allowed to work, then that will be fine. But if you ask that Council of State should, set some names and then come out with a short list, and then you ensure that the members who are Council of State members are all your people, your cronies, who will just go and do your bidding, then we'll have the structures, but it will still not work because you have somebody who have spread his tentacles everywhere and influencing, every decision, although on paper, to let it look as if the system is working when indeed behind the scenes. For example, the removal of a Chief Justice, and all you need is a petition from somebody to the Council of State, saying that we have made a prima facie determination that she has a case to answer. If you can easily influence somebody, a party, apparatchiki, to write a petition, then you get your people in the Council of State to quickly say that, we have found a prima facie case. Then you, the same person, set up a committee of 5. You select the same people, your own people, to go and sit on it. I mean, you are seeing structures, but I'm telling you that it's not working because there is an invisible hand which is moving all over. So, to me, we have made these old reviews, but would we allow a system to work? Let the system work so that in trying to trim down the powers of the president, they would now allow the systems to work instead of some invisible hands still in the background determining what to do. So I agree. You are running a constitutional and executive government, and therefore you may have some powers. But we are saying that they are too enormous. They are not within any strictures, so you can do whatever you like and get, for people, and it's more like playing politics than serious administration.
Clearly, if you had your way, the removal of the Chief Justice will be top of the agenda for you during the Constitution review process. Aside that, what else would you want to see corrected if it is an error or a wrong in the Constitution as we have it currently? And this is a good conversation to have because the process has been triggered and we're expecting a review to be happening soon.
Oh, let me assure you, if you are not aware, that I was an unofficial ninth member of that review, and I was there every day except when they went on the national engagement in the regions, and when I had to travel shortly to Nigeria. So I have a lot to say, and I must say that there are a few things. For example, upping the number of parliamentarians with that 276 is something that was discussed. I mean, what's the point of every 10 years we're going to have like a census, and then after the census, then we create more constituencies. Meanwhile, we have the same parliament. Remember, I think 2 years or so before the MPP was to exit, there was this concern raised by the majority of the time that they needed to build a new parliament. I mean, how long can we continue? Because now, if you look at the sitting arrangement of the Parliament House, you'll find that some are hiding behind pillars because we have so expanded that you need to find space for people. You know, and if every 10 years after a census we need to create more, and the house remains the same, it's not going to make sense. It means then we have to be building new parliamentary structures. And that is not what we have in advanced democracies. What they have is what they have. So it's also very good to copy. Then the number of ministers, capping the number of ministers also makes sense. Although there's
So before you explain the capping of ministers, so capping MPs should be, so what should be in your view, the ideal number that we peg it at, which we don't go beyond?
No, we should stay where we are.
276. We shouldn't reduce.
That is it. That's where we are. We should just.
What if we raise it to 300 and balance the equation and leave it at 300?
You still have problem with space. I don't know whether you have taken a closer look at the sitting arrangement.
Yeah, there are some who hide behind pillars, like you said. It's true.
They are so packed, you know. So just leave it there. Okay, I mean, in most advanced countries, they're packed. And they are okay with it. So
and the ministers, so the ministers, should we take a cue from President Mahama and peg it at 50 because he appears to have done a great job with just 50 for 1 year so far?
Yeah, but we all know that we don't need all those, ministers. But you find that what presidents do when they are elected is that they want to show appreciation to constituencies who voted for them. I remember as Ghana Bar Association Secretary, National Secretary, we went to President asking him to change a particular deputy minister from where he had put him to another place. He told us, "Oh, gentlemen, you have come to disturb me. I made a promise that if they win that seat, I'm going to give them a ministerial appointment."
So it must happen.
So you have really disturbed me, but coming from you guys, I'll do something about it. So sometimes, I mean, they are unnecessary appointments. And you see, the worst one was what Nana did when he went beyond 100. Yeah, I was a member of the Constitution Drafting Committee, and we were always talking about a lean government. And the number of us sitting around the table as chairpersons of certain, sectors were like almost to be the ministers of those people. I don't think we're even more than 29 around that table. I was in charge of governance, which had to do with Attorney General, police, and all those things, But then immediately he won the election with that wide margin. Then he decided to show appreciation.
and appreciation brought in so many people.
So many people unnecessary. Over 100 you talk and he will never listen because he's trying to, if you like, convert them so that next time when he goes to ask them to vote for him, then he will do that. And it's unnecessary. You say this number is okay. I mean, for example, I've been a minister before, and most of these deputy ministers try to undermine and catch the eye of the president, so he may want to, they want to supplant you, so that you could be changed and then they can take over. And so I can assure you that a lot of the ministers were not on speaking terms with their deputies. That is number one. Number two, the deputies don't attend cabinet meetings. So they don't know what government policies are. It is for the minister to attend the cabinet, come back and brief the deputy that this is the way to go. And we had one deputy minister who was very notorious on making statements when in fact he doesn't know what the policy is. The policy of the government is the minister will be sitting there before you say, Jackie, I've got to make a few statements, which for which they are.
So would you then say that we should, in the amendments, say that there should be no deputy ministerial portfolio? We should just make it ministers and no deputies?
What he had done now is that, he just looked at a few big ministries, and then he gave them some deputies. That is okay. But across board, it's unnecessary. Just increases the number. And as I said, and you will find, mark my words, you'll find that President Nana Akufo-Addo at the swearing in of deputy ministers, just reminding them that they are only gone there to assist their ministers to do their work, and that none of them should attempt to undermine the minister. Otherwise, if he gets information, he will remove them from office. But that was what was happening all over the place. They were just misbehaving towards their ministers, and so the ministers did not talk to them. So if you ask me from personal experience, there's no need. If we get a few big ministries where maybe some ministers can be put there, that's fine. Then the other area that I found so interesting, but the media has not looked at, is the compulsory acquisition of land and what to do with them. I was particularly interested. In fact, that was what took me there as president of the Garden Council to talk about how our lands have been taken away and given to private individuals and never, used for the purposes for which they were acquired. And they are on that area, including limitation when the purpose for which land is acquired should be used, failing which should automatically lapse. It becomes null and void. Because today, I can tell you that Agbopolushi and those lands there were taken for Kole Lagoon, expansion, beautification, and all sorts of things around 1961 thereabouts. And the law remains. And it's never been used for that purpose. All kinds of things have sprung up there, including one of the dirtiest areas of people burning electrical spare parts, the rest polluting the area. Here is one of the worst polluted areas in Ghana.
E-waste, yeah.
And some e-waste, yes. And I'm telling you, most of these lands were taken from the people of Accra, Gardanglis, including yourself, and they have not been used for the purpose for which they were taken, and there's no sunset clause on it that it would become void if it is not used, and therefore, at the end of the day, it's rather given to people to do estate development to the detriment of the pre-acquisition owners. So I want you people to focus on that area. You see, it's quite a lot of work has been done in that area. If indeed the president, from what I heard him say, is it today or so, that is not going to issue a white paper, but will rather set up an implementation committee for those areas which do not require a referendum, and he really would want to go along to do those things, then it will be a game changer. A lot of things can happen, straight away. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Nomo, for that view. We really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Okay, my pleasure.
That's Honorable Ayikoi Otoo. He's a former Attorney General speaking to us on the Constitution.